I've
She's
taken
passing
some
me the-
notes for page 6 today. I am prepared. You have called me unhinged. You've called me
That
careless.
list. I died at the list.
Virtual reality.
Ronnie and Ben from Watch What Crappens, thank you so much for stopping by our studio
Oh my
today.
goodness.
Thank
yes,
you.
thanks for having us.
I know, and you guys have a very, you guys are always very busy, but
Mm-hmm.
the Crappies are coming up, which is everyone's, I feel it's everyone's favorite award show.
Yes. It's
I think, yes.
It's the only award show that matters in this award show season.
Well, I
let's
do
be
feel like
honest.
for our community, it is the Oscars.
Thank you.
It really, really is.
Yeah, thank you.
We feel that way, and we're so happy you two will be presenting at the show.
We feel so honored.
Yes.
Yeah, we're so honored. It's your first time, boys. Welcome.
I know, I'm like excited and
Welcome.
scared for whatever category you give it, because like,
I think we've given you a category, but I forgot. I should have looked that up before we started recording because I totally forgot.
It's probably like a really bitchy one. We're like, they can handle it.
that's what
Bring
I'm
in
like,
something evil.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that would be fun for us. It should
Some
be-
of the categories are honestly so hysterical, and the nominees that you choose to nominate, like Pavardi's headbands as Best Supporting
Yes.
Character. But I am rooting for Brittany Bateman to win that category. I voted for her. How do we feel about Brittany?
Love her.
Love,
Yeah.
love, right?
She's trying so hard. I think on any other on any other show that wouldn't really work, but this one is, we call it community theater of housewives. Like they can't remember their lines half the time on that show, and she's perfect for that. And all her little videos, like singing her musical theater stuff.
so breathtaking, and I
Yeah.
love
Yes.
that because you just want to see Sunset Boulevard. I feel I want to see Britney on Broadway. Like I think she deserves that.
Yeah.
She does. Yeah, she just did some national tour. Not just did, but she did national tours. So
It's not Broadway, but yes.
But didn't she
It's-
play
well,
Ariel
not
at
according
Tokyo
to her.
Disney?
She
That
did.
too,
Ariel.
yeah.
Well, I think that she was like multiple characters because I definitely saw a video of her as Ariel, but I also saw a video of her as Pocahontas, which has so many layers attached to it.
Yeah, she
and I
can
love,
do
I
it
can
all.
see her like that's just like her traveling show.
Yeah.
It's like Pocahontas and Ariel getting together.
Yeah, it's just like two sides of the same person. I think that with like Britney, when she first came on at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh gosh, this woman is trying so hard. This is like a reality star. Like we've all seen them over like 20 years, like the people who come on who just want to be a reality star. And coming off the heels of the Monica season, I was like, oh God, she's trying to make a splash. I don't know, I'm like worried about the season. It's gonna it's gonna be so extra to compensate for Monica. But then I came to realize the charm with Britney is that she is so bad at trying to be the reality star.
yeah, I love
She's
it.
so bad at it.
I mean, she's been doing theater so long, it wasn't even problematic when she was doing Pocahontas back in the day.
So
I was
she's
like, well,
experienced.
yeah.
And she's like, no,
guys.
I could film people then, guys. It's fine.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Wait, because I know you stayed up late watching the Salt Lake reunion.
Yes.
How are we feeling this way? Because when we had Nichelle on from Entertainment Tonight, who we love,
Yeah.
Bronwyn was losing her a little bit. How are
Oh,
we?
she lost.
A
Well,
lot of people, I think, Bronwyn's
Really?
I've been more anti-Bronwyn than Ben. I like her as
I
a
love her.
housewife. I think she should stay forever, probably. I think she's great, but she's such a liar. And it's so weird because people in the fandom get it's so hot and cold, It's either your icon mother, it's that, or you're hateable, And I think she's somewhere in the middle. Everybody lies. I think she's just...
It's like everybody poops, everybody lies.
It's just you gotta do it
so it's not like
skillfully.
she's doing something worse than anybody else. But I think what's making me crazy is that the audience just believes everything and she'll give 3 stories, and every time she gives a different one, the audience is like, yep, well, she said it the first time.
But
no, she didn't.
That's I think what I like about her is her competency at giving the stories is so good when you compare her to someone like Britney, who like just flops trying to explain that recording she did in that seat. Like she couldn't keep her story straight. Whereas Bronwyn, like, it's like, okay, this is like fudging the truth a little bit.
Yeah.
But given that they all do it, she does it so well. And I think the first half of the season was a stronger half for her. She had like a really clear feud with Heather, and she was just dominant. She like really destroyed Heather. Yeah. She did. And then the second half, she was a little bit more like she was sort of going after everyone in this chaotic way that was like not as strong. But I think she's like a great addition.
Yeah, we are big Bronwyn fans. I was surprised though that the fans. I guess now that you guys have spelled it out for me, now I understand why the fans have kind of.
Well, because the
turned
main
on
thing,
her
like
a
the
little
jeweler was confusing. She's like, I shop for that all the time. I will never shop from there, and I never have. Wait.
Yeah.
It was kind of
And
giving
also,
Britney.
because my thing with that all the time is like, I know you're richer than me. Like, just doesn't like I could never buy $1 million thing. Like, if you bought it or rented it, I'm like, I couldn't get the clearance for that.
Yeah, I
it
think
wasn't about the actual jewelry. Nobody cares if you bought the jewelry. I mean, everyone's borrowing stuff. Sonia
Yeah.
was on there for years with literal price tags still on there so she
Jenna
could
Lyons
return it.
Rent the Runway. For a robe.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
What are we doing there? Yeah.
no one cares about that. I think it was just the first time it was a definable lie that everybody was like, oh, you do lie. So if you've got that, and it's just how she did it, where she's like, well, I did buy the earrings, and I did, right, yes, and she makes you agree with her by just nodding in your
yeah, she
face.
does this. She's,
And she's like, I did buy a smaller version, and I also bought the earrings, yes. And then 5 minutes later, she's like, did not buy the earrings. Remember when I said that I did not buy the earrings?
But
10
you're
times?
so right every time I buy it. And I
Yeah.
forget her
You're
previous.
unlike her. You're buying it. She's never.
She never bought
I
anything.
forget her previous edition of the story.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
like with her, like the first half, she had like such a good, like clear like position in the group, which was she was a newbie. You know, Heather honestly what came in a little hot about Bronwyn, and Bronwyn was like, no, you can't do that with me, and it was great. And Bronwyn was there with Angie K and Whitney. And then, like, when she finally, she made Heather heel. Like, she made Heather bend the knee at that one. Remember that one? Was it
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Was it Breakfast at Tiffany's? Where she's like, she basically was just like, you have to obey me now.
I have your birthday.
I have, yes.
Yeah.
And
Happy birthday. Yeah.
and then after that,
HR.
though, but then after that, Bronwyn kind of went crazy. She like turned on Angie K. She turned on Whitney, and I think that's where she lost her thread.
It's kind of funny because on the flip side, I feel Meredith this season started out like she wasn't like in it that much, and then
Now she's
this
all I can
recent
think
reunion,
about. Like, she is fully dialed in, clocked
I
in.
love
Yeah.
Talk about
Meredith.
community theater.
a
Like,
liar.
love it.
She's not off book yet. She has all of her things. Yeah.
Yes.
She's like got this big robe thing that
I've
she's has
taken
me in
some
a thing.
notes for page 6 today. I am prepared. You have called me unhinged. You've called me
That
careless.
list. I died at the list.
Make
That
love
was,
to you.
the best list I've ever
Is
heard.
that when she goes because when she does it and she called her a bitch? So you're an
Narcissist.
abuser. So now you abuse me because she called you a bitch. It gives me such life.
But you
My
know what, though?
favorite one is bulimic because no one ever said that.
But what I do feel like with the throwing up, there was sort of the implication.
Oh, I got you
drunk.
drank too much.
I got
Yes.
drank. I got
Oh,
drink.
I went straight to bulimia.
I went straight to got wasted. Like I thought the implication was like she may have an alcohol problem.
Yes.
Like she got drunk, she's crying, she's emotionally
I just
unstable.
figured it's like the
That's-
sound effects you hear from every housewife. I
She
mean,
was
it's
playing
like-
with her WAV files. She's like, hi, I'm DJing. Yeah.
I mean, it's a trip, but you should be hearing barfing and crying. I mean, what do you do on your
In a
trips?
villa? Yes. Would you want to know something? I stayed at that hotel once.
You did?
Really?
It looks so.
I
Did
know.
you
I
go to
stayed
the-
with her friends, boyfriends. I like clung. I Britneyed myself there.
Were there listening
I was gonna
devices
say-
in your room?
You know what? There weren't. I don't
Okay.
think so. But I
Were
did
the,
have
were the
some crying.
walls thin? Could you hear?
Yes.
You
You're-
could hear some things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I have to say, I don't know if you guys feel this way. So I love Meredith.
Love.
And I love Angie K. And I hate that they hate each other.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want them to be friends. And like I felt on this episode, every time that they were like clashing, I was like waiting for like a breakthrough moment where they would be like, let's like start fresh. Like I said things, I came from a place of hurt. I really want to have a friendship with you. And I was like waiting for that. And it didn't happen. And I was so
No,
sad
I'm
about
so
it.
happy. I don't want them to be friends. I love when Angie follows her around. Remember when they were at that drag bar on the trip, all dressed like Marilyn Monroe?
Yeah.
And Whitney's following her, or not Whitney, Angie's following her around trying to start fights, and Meredith just kept trying to ignore her, but she'd be like,
woman.
you said I was a slut, or
Yeah.
whatever it
Like, called her
was.
like a pit bull or something. Yeah.
Well, Meredith called her a pit bull, and then Angie said, "You are a trampoline with eyes."
There was one glimmer of hope that I saw this during part 2 of the reunion, where I felt like Angie was making an effort to level with Meredith when they were talking about the audio versus what she said versus what
Yes.
Monica said, etc.
Meredith
And
didn't understand that.
Meredith was about
Meredith
to.
was already.
She was ready to leave, but Angie was like, Meredith, how would you feel if you just heard the vindication? Like she was like trying to like help her
Yes.
understand. And for a moment, I was like, wait, maybe they could.
I do feel it's Mary Cosby. You have to work it out, Angie, with her.
I think that's
I feel
gonna be
she
next
will listen
season.
to that. Yes.
That's
that's
next
gonna
season
be-
because I think that like Angie K and Meredith, when they get mad, I think they don't even hear what's happening.
Yeah.
And like if they could only hear the way we heard, we saw a bridge, and like they could just have to take their steps onto that bridge.
No bridges. No bridges.
I'm Team Bridge. I'm Team Bridge. I think they could be fun together.
Yeah, the
that's true.
bridges don't last in
Yeah.
Salt Lake City
That's
either,
true.
by the way.
Wait, but so while we're having the Salt Lake City reunion, we're also having the RHONY reunion.
Yikes.
How,
The feel-good reunion
It's
of the year.
compelling.
I feel good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the lighter topics. What do you think about robes at the reunion? Can I tell you?
Robes.
I hate it.
You hate the robe? I mean, she's wearing what I wear every day for my costume, like for my work. I
love
my
to-
underwear every day.
I
so.
love robes too, but
Yeah, but
whatever.
you're supposed to be glam. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get that it's kind of her thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works okay. It's New York, so I'm like, that's
Okay.
the whole
They're
show
going to,
is
they got
basically.
J.Crew gift cards, I guess. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Well, to me, the whole show is kind of showing up in a robe. Like that's the effort they make sometimes. It seems. So I think it makes sense.
Okay, Dragon
Yeah,
Ronnie.
that's fair. I think
Okay.
Too much.
Showing up in a wow. It was.
All right. Let's cut that out. Cut that out, guys.
I was surprised that it was Balenciaga. We were on Two Teas in a Pod and we were talking about the robe, and Teddy was like, "Isn't Balenciaga still canceled?" And like, I don't like. Is it
I'm-
still canceled?
Are
Or no?
you
I
can't
don't
even
think-
start looking at the designers. They're all
I was gonna-
cancelable. They're
yeah,
all,
I
they're
still
all
don't
Jacob
know
on
about
it.
any
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. They're
Is
all bad.
Balenciaga, well, because of that, the photographer thing.
Well, I think it was like the like child abuse.
No,
sex
it was like
trafficking
he was like
energy.
he's putting
Oh, was
kids in.
it?
No, he's putting kids in like S&M.
Yeah, like
things that reference
sexualizing
S&M.
children.
Oh, for Christ's
And then
sake.
people got
Teddy
very
Mellencamp
upset.
is on the case, though.
Yeah, she
Teddy
is.
Mellencamp will. I was, look, like Ronnie said, if you look too deep into fashion, you will find problematic things everywhere. I'm
Well,
sure.
let me tell you the designer that does not do crap like that. Old Navy.
That's
They
true.
don't do it.
And that
That
is
is-
Sierra, Paige, and Amanda's favorite store.
Yes.
As we learned last
That's
season.
totally
on Someone Else.
believable.
Yeah.
Paige and
Look
an
at
Old
this
Navy.
hat. Like she was full Glinda.
And let me tell you what, I was ready to go to Old Navy after that
you?
episode.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah,
You know what?
they're
They did their
influencers.
job.
That Old Navy's right by the Container Store, which I do love. To Kill Time and Chelsea.
That's a
I
good
know.
one.
It's a
I
good one.
love $50 for like a tiny, crate.
Yeah, just to collect
Mm.
dust.
And I did love that, by the way, that Giselle and Potomac took her daughter to the Container Store. I was really happy that there was a Container Store
A
moment.
moment.
Yeah.
And wait, also, we haven't seen the reunion after that. Giselle, everyone is saying she won the looks. Did you see the looks?
She looks so good.
Never heard that phrase before.
I know.
I know.
I
It
know.
was
I mean-
shousewife
First time
We
it's
actually
ever been uttered.
But she
Giselle
was
looks
so
the
good.
best
It was,
in the
it
reunion.
was the body was snatched. The cutouts were in all the right spots. It was kind of giving a housewife reunion version of Toni Braxton at the Grammys so many years ago. Remember when she looked so naked? It wasn't that naked, but it was giving me that same naked Toni Braxton essence.
I recently, over the past week, I was looking at some old Potomac episodes, and I saw the Potomac reunion where Monique Samuel pulled out the binder and everything, and they were all wearing
That was a
yellow.
yellow theme? Yeah.
And
Yellow,
Monique looked
and
so good at that
She looked good,
reunion.
but like Robin, she did this yellow thing with her hair.
Wasn't
sometimes
that the I'm so glad Rob Wilson is not here right now?
You
That's her
guys-
in the Trader's Castle. Like, he's not here.
Yeah.
You know RHONY is in a bad state when we were trying to talk about that, but what we're now talking about Robin's
Like,
face yellow
I was like, wait, can I talk about
Robin
Giselle's
takes over.
kid in the Container Store? No, Ronnie is not in a
Put
good
Robin
place.
on Ronnie. I just want to see what happens.
It's so
Honestly,
funny.
yeah. I think that for the robe, I was fine with it. I thought the robe looked better than you would think, but I also can't imagine spending $1,500 on a robe. I'm sorry.
Apparently it was $4,000, so I guess she got a discount.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
She's gonna return it, she said.
But with that much of a discount, can you return it?
But like, I imagine. Okay, I do think like a $100 suit, which is what I will be wearing at the Crappies. I bought a $100. I bought a $100
Okay,
suit.
yeah.
My designer is Amazon for that one.
Yeah, but I think like the difference between a $100 suit and a $4,000 suit is really big. But I think the difference, this may be me being naive, but a difference between a $100 robe versus a $4,000 robe, I'm not sure. Like where's the tailoring come into?
It's
You
just
know?
fluff.
I think what made it work is she's wearing a robe like she doesn't give a F, but then you've got Brynn who's wearing like a Mrs. Roper at the Oscars robe.
$7,000.
That is trying
$7,000.
so hard. And everyone's like, where'd you get the money? Because that's how it is on that show. And she looks ridiculous in her robe.
Yeah.
And Jenna looks amazing, like she doesn't care, and she's trying too hard. So I think it's an interesting juxtaposition.
I know. $7,000. No one should be spending $7,000 on a dress.
There are children that are hungry.
Yes.
Me! I'm starving!
We could eat that robe.
I think Ronnie. I think the reason why Jenna has, like oddly, I won't say she succeeds as a housewife, but why she comes up maybe more. She's on the better side of the of the spectrum is
The mermaid tail. It's
the
called the
side of
mermaid tail
the
theory
salmon, the
that we're
flopping
working on.
salmon. Is because I think she doesn't give a damn, and I think that she is just like herself, and like that's ultimately what I want. So she may not be high drama, but if she can just be herself. Although
like
this
her.
season she was like a little performative.
She was very activated, or I don't know if you would consider it performative, when we were talking about Jessel and the love of her life and the way
Yeah,
Brynn distorted
that was really good.
Yeah, what was your reaction to that? I was surprised that she cared so much.
I loved it that she was like, no, and that is not right.
Like, how
Like
could
she's finally
she-
coming through. She's blossoming. you
Yeah.
know,
Well, that I think
anger.
is probably a trigger for her because remember she went through the mess of, you know, her divorce and tabloids, like outing things, and she knows how rough it is when other people meddle with a relationship. You know.
Also, she's just effing sick of Brynn's lies, and
I
so
know.
it's nice to see. And I think that sometimes, you know, that movie where Robert Redford has to break the horses, you know? And I'm not saying anyone's like a horse. I'm
The way
just
we
saying
were.
it's like, I'm just saying it's like you have to push people to the point where you break them in order to build them as a housewife, you know? Like, look at Shannon Bedore. They broke that. I mean, that woman was tight as a walnut. I mean, she could, and now look at her. She's a mess, and she's just amazing, and now she's kind of
Drinking at
building
malls,
herself back
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think
like
they
the
did it to
Phoenix.
Jenna.
Okay.
You broke Jenna.
I know, because she went from like, because my least favorite confessional, she's like, my religion's ice cream. I'm like, you're in your 50s.
Puppies and ice cream.
Like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Puppies and ice cream? Like, what is that? But to this, you're right. She has blossomed.
Yeah, she finally got pissed.
Yeah,
That's
she
really
had
all
that.
you
You're talking
need.
about Shannon Bedore. How do we feel about the OC news this week?
Oh my goodness, I could not even believe it.
Why would you do
I
that?
thought it was a fake headline for a second.
I was so excited you guys were coming in today because I need to talk about this with someone.
Yes, please. I can't believe I'm still
prompted-
shocked. I read it last night
Gretchen-
and I woke up thinking about it. That's how sad I am. I woke up like, is this the world
It
we live in
feels-
now?
It's so weird she's coming like with Katie and Jen too.
I know. Katie and well, Kate.
Who's
that
Katie?
she's
When
coming in with Katie.
Katie Janela and Jen Pedranti.
Because like
Yeah.
that's what
They
Jen
bring-
posted, like a little like the three of them dancing
Right.
like.
Apparently, Katie and Jen have fostered a close friendship with Gretchen.
You see,
in
Gretchen
recent
keeps working. After the show, she keeps in friendships with everybody, and it finally worked. She finally suckered somebody into
You know
it.
what? I believe it or not, I actually was a big fan of Gretchen when she first came on the show. Her first season was one of the best.
Oh,
OC
yeah, old
seasons.
Gretchen, yeah.
Old Gretchen was great. She did kind of just become like just how she airbrushes all her photos. That's what her personality became. But for me, I'm okay with Gretchen. But for me, my real issue is having Slade back on the show. Slade is bottom of the barrel. He is the worst. He is so annoying, and he is someone who just wants to mug for camera time. He's inauthentic and he's mean, and I do not look forward to having more Slade on the show.
I hope she bugs him about hamburgers more. Remember when she was like, "Don't eat that hamburger. You're getting kind of tubby wubby." And then everyone's like, "How dare she cancel Gretchen?" But now her personality, when I've seen it on Instagram and stuff, is very like church lady.
Yeah.
She's very like hashtag Jesus is in the car.
It's
Like get in the
getting,
back seat to Jesus, you know, which is great. I'm not like anti-religion.
Honk,
It's
honk.
just
Yeah.
it's just she's kind of performative, you know, to bring
I
the
mean,
word
it kind
back
of seems
again.
on brand for 2025. So like,
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, when I saw it, I was like,
Yes.
it makes total sense with what's happening.
I'm sure her Facebook statuses get a lot of likes.
Uh-huh.
Huge on Facebook.
She's riding
She's
the
killing
wave.
it on
Huge
FB.
on Facebook.
You know, and I have to
Yeah.
imagine that part of casting these shows is to reflect certain political climates, what's going on in the country, and she kind of does totally match that. I mean, she might be great. I mean, the show has brought back kind of like, it's sort of like tinkered and brought in all these people who were like great in previous seasons. Now we got Heather back, Tamara's back, so maybe Gretchen in the mix. You know, Gretchen and Tamara have always had a good rivalry.
yeah.
So that'll
Oh
be
God,
good.
I can't wait to watch Heather try and eat up Gretchen. That'll be fun.
You know what I'm not looking forward to?
Because Heather's gonna hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she will be hilarious. I'm not looking forward to a one-on-one scene with Gina and Gretchen. That's not going to be good TV.
Oh, I did not think about that
Yeah.
until just now, and I don't
What about-
like that.
Emily
I'm a
Couch?
Gina-nator. I love Gina so much.
Gina Kirshinator.
Oh
Kirshinator.
God, I'm still going back to the original. Like,
You thought we were talking about Kia?
No,
Like
it
Gina
was
was
really
Gina
cute.
from State Farm.
even being shady.
You're the one currently on the show.
I wasn't even trying to be shady. Oh God,
I know,
Poor,
I mean,
poor newer Gina.
I think last time I was on here, I think I bashed poor Gina.
Yes,
and
and
you guys
I-
were like, she's so nice. I 100%
Gina.
believe that Gina is incredibly nice, and she's probably so sweet. I'm like not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure she's like Real Housewives worthy.
I'm fine with poor people being on Housewives because I
You
feel
and Jenna
like-
Lyons. I'm fine with poor people. I'm on RHONY.
I'm fine with it. I think that like people give her a lot of guff for being poor and stuff, but I don't. They're all poor. I mean, she just doesn't bother faking it. You know?
Also, it's the kind of thing where everyone made fun of Danielle Cabral's house. I'm like, at least I know she's covering her mortgage payments.
exactly.
That's true.
How's everyone else doing?
Yeah. So I kind of like that she's financially smart in that way.
Didn't say that, but yes.
I just don't think she's a good friend to people on the show.
Yeah, she
Gina?
isn't.
And I think ultimately, like, you can love or hate people on the shows, but if they're true friends, like, I love when people will stick together. I will never forgive Kyle Richards. I will still, because that's
which
like
moment?
something, I believed in that. I believe that. Because I like when people stay friends and they can keep that. You know, I get a little fighting,
Kyle and
but
Lisa?
just completely backstabbing people all the time. I don't like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle did
So are you like
Yeah.
super team Dorit then? In
Yeah.
this Dorit versus
I am.
Are you
100%.
also team Dorit?
Yeah,
okay.
very-
Well, I
You're
mean, as
Team Kyle.
much as
Are
you
you-
can
No.
with Dorit.
Oh.
I'm actually pretty split on them. I love Dorit so much. Like I just love her
Yeah.
aesthetically. I love the accent. I love the cigarette. I love the new hair. Like
Yeah.
I'm really.
I know.
really
I love
into
her just
Dorit.
like always like because like she is going through like a crisis. I think she would say. I love that she's just like the girl at the bar with the wine going through her hair. Like it's been a day.
Yeah.
And, like that's kind of like my favorite energy to go to happy. That's why I get why Bose is like I want to hang out with her because she's really entertaining.
Yeah.
To just kind of
Yeah.
watch Spiral.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Bose is like, I can just listen to her.
Yeah.
I don't need to say anything.
Also, that's
you know?
why she's like, so I can be on reality TV and you're just gonna talk. I don't have to share. Yeah.
I also
let's
feel
go.
like I get the sense that Bose is really smart, and when she says she likes to listen, I think she's taking everything in and she's storing it away. And I'm not saying she's using it for anything evil, but I feel like she will be equipped if you ever come for her. She will be ready to like take all that information and like throw it right back.
I
at
also
you.
feel like she knows it's Housewives, not like Girl Scouts. She's like, I don't have to have a moment with every person. I'm like, I have my person that I'm kind of with, and like,
Yeah.
why I don't need to.
And that's how like
Right.
life
Yeah.
really works
Yeah.
out a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like you find your person you connect with, and if that person's Dorit, then why would she waste her time getting to know Kyle? But she's not wasting her time taking Kyle to task and setting the producers up to put together a montage of every time Kyle's lied.
Love
Like,
it.
it's-
That was amazing.
I'm sure
gonna
you
take
were-
That, yeah, I'm going to take that and just watch it at movie night at my house, like over and over. Because it's so rare that we get that with Kyle.
I know, because I feel like, I mean, I guess looking back on the history of Beverly Hills, it feels like production and editors have maybe like protected her. a little?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe they have, and they've 100% protected her.
Yeah.
Wait, are we loving Sutton? Because she.
I always love Sutton.
I know. I love that.
love
Like
her.
she can be like she has such like highs and lows within 5-minute spans.
Yes.
Like, she's really beautiful to watch.
She's so
Yes.
off kilter. And when she gets mad and her eyes just slit and they get dark, you know, you see them clouding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I listen. I love my monsters on Bravo. Like the more like over the top they can be, the more they just seem like they're out of like a Tennessee Williams, play. The
that
Happy
is
RAM, and that's Sutton. That is
Yeah.
Sutton to a T. The way she goes hot and cold, the way she has these like irrational like reactions to things, like that is my favorite thing ever.
The way, why can I hear her asking for a paper lantern to cover the lights? Like that's like I
Yeah.
feel like she wakes up demanding.
Yeah.
Yes, in the tub. Yeah, that
And
really
the
is funny.
fact that we never have any resolution to why she's mad. And I think that's so hilarious. Like she'll come up with something, but none of it makes sense. Like, why did she storm out of Magic Mike? Why did she?
'Cause
She was
put
just
on-
mad.
She wore pants for a potential moment on stage.
But
What?
why is she screaming and running
Because
out?
the
Like,
strippers weren't choosing her, and she was like,
That's
feeling-
absolutely what it was.
That's what, because remember they chose like, or if they were going to choose her, she was like last in line, and she was feeling a certain sort of way about it.
It was
and
like
she's
the
well,
dodgeball in middle school.
but see, I love that. That doesn't, like, it in show-wise, it really just doesn't make much sense. Or what was her first one that she had a fit about it? Lisa
Well,
Rinna,
there
because there
was-
was that
well,
makeup artist.
She said Joey
that,
Maloof.
like,
Joey Maloof
yes.
was there.
Yes.
She just loses it, and then she kind of comes back, but it never. Every time she calms down and she acts normal again, I'm like, oh, everything's fine with Sutton, you know? And then she loses it, and it shocks me every time.
I love when she gets rattled, because again, it's so authentic. Like she's not putting on any sort of like scene. It's not like Brittany Bateman who's trying to have a moment. She, in those moments, you can see she has stepped out, not stepped out of herself, but like all of a sudden she can't help but be herself. She cannot control this. This emotion has welled up inside of her, and she is just gonna act out in some sort of way. And it's like hilarious to watch, but it's also who she is.
That's her core. That's her
Yeah,
character.
it's core.
That's her core.
That is her core. And I love it because like there's sometimes like some of the house you're like, oh, you're trying to like produce too much. She never has that
Yeah.
in her mind at all.
And Shannon Bedore's like that too. You can see when they try to. You know, they always when they try to produce something, they always try to be like fun Shannon. You know, like, okay, we're gonna dress like Bret Michaels and have a fun time. And then like she notices that like her shoelace is broken. She's like, oh, why? I guess my shoelace is broken and no one wanted to tell me that. I guess I'm just not important to anyone. That's fine. I'll just embarrass myself on TV. And it's like,
I'm not having any real friends in the room. Not
So I
only
guess-
did my husband leave me, I never see my children, but now I'm walking around like an idiot.
Oh my
I'm
god.
taking off my mic.
You know, she's throwing her mic everywhere and running off.
it's just like the instant spiral, despite all attempts to be fun, is just the best.
That's really them. Yeah.
But Sutton and Garcelle do produce, and I think it's so funny because it's so obvious when they do it. They're like, all right, let's get Kyle today, you know? And
Yeah.
they just sit there and she's like, well,
Do you think it
what
was
about you're the
premeditated
force?
to ask her to apologize line by line for the storm out at Bose's
It was a
house
full like the
part?
moth reading. Where it's
What-
like
what-
line
I
two,
mean, I
line
was
two,
obsessed with
line
it, but do you think that she had met up with Garcelle previously and was like, we should do this?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Garcelle, I mean, Sutton explained what she wanted out of the situation, where she's like, "What I want her to apologize for is being a hypocrite or whatever." But she won't just say that.
No,
It's like,
yes.
why, Kyle? Why? But why?
Kyle's like, I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, that's what I do love Garcelle and Sutton. They're such a good duo because they're like, could take or leave any of the other ladies. So like, oh, if Kyle's mad at me after this lunch, okay.
Yeah.
Like they're not like, oh my god, now I have to like have a little forgiving for her. Like, no, I'm good. Like,
Yeah,
it
see
keeps
ya.
it very fun and entertaining.
It seems like no one on the cast currently, other than maybe Erica Jane, cares what Kyle thinks.
Yeah,
Which
I
is-
think that, and I
yeah.
love that, and I think
Yeah.
that like I love Garcelle's unspoken disdain for Kyle. It's been there for years, and you can tell that she wants to just say the worst things about Kyle, but I think Garcelle still is like mindful. She's like, you know what? I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna be that person, but I will just give her this look like, you're full of shit. I know you're full of shit. And I don't care because this is my paycheck, and I
Well,
will
she
put up
tells
with
her,
it.
but she just does it so quickly. It's like, well, the video didn't help. And Kyle's like,
Yeah.
and everyone's questioning my sexuality. And she's like, well, the video didn't help.
And I love too because when Kyle was like, it was so mean of her to say the lesbian comment, and then Garcelle was like, we joked about that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not outing you. Like, that was a joke, and you laughed. So
Yeah. And Kyle's like, well, in the LGBTQ community, you can't ask me. I'm like, no, you don't get to.
It was like
not
the
yet, not yet,
Noella. I
ma'am.
googled LGBT gifts on
Yeah.
Amazon. Oh my
Kyle-
god.
I
This
went
is
through the
the-
company file and started looking for passes. I was like, you have not been granted this pass, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I'm the GMV.
This
No,
is
no.
the most we've seen them connected though, Garcelle and Kyle, and I think it's obviously because of their shared hatred for
Watching Kyle
Dorit
have
at the
to find
moment.
friends now is so.
Oh,
it's really
Kyle's-
nice to watch on
like
TV.
Tiny
Like she has
Tim.
to hang out with
Yeah.
new people. She doesn't know what to do. You
Her
know, at that
lonely
Chuck E.
season.
Cheese.
Yeah, that she is like puttering around that house.
Making parfaits.
But now she's got Teddy staying in the guest house. Which it makes
yeah.
me so happy because she does seem really lonely.
Maybe Teddy can finally show her how to open up a French door. Because I don't know if you remember the first episode. She was like trying to push a chair like that size through
Because
the door.
Mauricio's gone.
She's like, oh, I don't.
Mauricio-
Now that Mauricio's not here, I have to figure out how to do things on my own. And they just gave up on trying to put the chair through the door because they couldn't figure out how to open up the second French door.
It's a little hook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teddy knows how to, I know Teddy knows how to
Ted
open
for sure,
Because it's like
yeah.
an equestrian. Like,
Yeah.
Like the
It's
barn door. Yeah.
Just change all the doors to the barn doors, and Teddy will get them.
Teddy
all.
will know. Yeah. Wow, but Teddy's in the guest house. It's okay. Yeah. It's,
they're the single
Or
ladies.
in the guest house or the glam room, because then she also said at one point that she was sleeping in the glam room. Right?
I
Or
think
did
she
I make
did
that
say
up?
that.
Is that
yeah,
my
she said
fantasy?
there's like some attic or something that's a glam room, right?
Yeah, and
Isn't that
she's,
what she said?
she's sleeping.
I have an I
there.
don't know
think,
what the rooms
do
are.
we think that Teddy is also trying to tag along to Portia's lunches?
Oh, that was so sad. Where are you going? Her just like with her
she's
bowl
like,
and her.
"I'm
Wait, did you see
here."
she had like the Pilates like weights on? I like never felt more Kyle like alone making a parfait while also trying to lose weight, like wondering if everyone's hanging out without me. That's where I kind of am liking Kyle this season because I'm like, she's sad, like she's
I'm
hitting my
liking
core.
her more this season
Yes.
than I normally do, just
Yeah.
because her temper tantrum. It's just all funnier to me now than it used to be.
Just
And the
storm at a
bird,
wall.
you know, just Kyle. She's like, I'm having a scene about being alone, and then there's a bird slamming into the window over and over again, and she's, I don't know. The whole thing is high cap to me.
I don't
I'm
know
loving
why
it.
you're talking about the bird reminded me because you brought up Monique's parrot.
Oh, I
Oh,
know.
that's another clip I rewatched, and that clip is still so funny. Like, just because Wendy's just saying something, she's like, well, the other day I went to the store, she's like, ah! you know.
There were the birds that were slamming into Vicky's office window. Do you remember that back in the day?
Yes,
She's like,
yes,
oh my
yes.
God,
That was
what are
an
we doing
energy.
about the birds?
Oh wait, and then a
Why
bird
are they
slammed into Kyle's window. Like all the birds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
the birds
yeah.
were slamming in there,
Oh
and
my
then there
God.
was the dead bird on the beach in New York this week, and then
yeah.
last week, and then this week in Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills, there was a dead bird.
There are birds
Wait.
everywhere.
There's like
what does
lots
it
of-
mean?
happening?
What
yeah,
does it mean,
there's
you
symbols
guys?
and signs.
Will there be birds at the Crappies?
We can kill a bird and we'll bring it
There's
in.
a few dead
Oh my God,
birds.
yeah, that'd be a
littering
nice
the-
I'm sure there's a dead
littering
pigeon
the
around
stage.
here. Some pigeon.
Pigeon.
By the way, I will say, best part of the RHONY season, we've been saying it like for like 3 weeks now, is Giselle wish, Naomi wish.
I do love
I
that.
would love one of them to comment. They're like, you know what?
I do
do
wish. Yeah.
I do wish. Yeah.
I would love it.
Before we wrap up, we haven't seen it, but we're so excited. Apparently, the Atlanta trailer is dropping imminently. What are your
Really?
wishes for the next season of Atlanta?
Oh God, I just want it to be good. Because
Yeah.
Atlanta's had a rough couple of seasons,
Yeah.
and that was the best, by far the best,
Yeah.
hands down. The
In its
funniest
prime
I
as
want
well.
it
was
to
the
be
best,
good
yeah.
and I want it to be coherent.
Oh.
You know, it's like I feel like especially the last season they just kept on throwing stuff at the wall to try to
Yeah.
like make it work, and it just was not. And I just want them to be dialed in. I don't want them to. Sometimes like Kenya, it has happened
Come
with
to work.
Portia.
Come
yeah,
to work.
come to work.
She
You're
wanted
not bigger
to.
than the show.
She did, and then she
Well,
Kenya
got the
really
pink
messed
slip.
But
it
it's
up.
been after seasons of her just like, I'm not shooting now.
Yeah.
And Portia, I'm just not shooting now.
Yeah.
Like, you have to come to work.
Like come to
hope-
work.
I know,
You're not
but-
bigger than the show, and let's
Yeah.
do a good show.
To your point, I'm so curious how, if they are able to edit this in a great way, that's because I know everyone's like, give them Emmys. They genuinely would deserve them because like how like casting has changed for it every week. Where it's like accidentally like the Traders where someone gets banished
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're like, this wasn't the plan for it. If it
Yeah.
all comes together, it'd be
I'm
pretty exciting to
scared.
see it.
Honestly, I'm scared on that front because I have found that like really any Real Housewives show that has started with like an initial cast and then they had to like fire someone before it's kind of like before the season or whatever. Like I feel like casting is a chemistry, and if you have to like make a quick change, so in this case Kenya being axed from the show, sometimes that can really mess up a season. But I'm also hopeful that they are like
I'm
putting a
rooting
lot
for that one. for
They've taken a
sure.
lot of time off, which I totally appreciate, and I hope that they took that time to make sure it's right.
Yeah, we're gonna drop it with Drew.
Drop it.
Drop it with Drew.
All I want to see is another honest business from Drew Sidora.
Yeah.
All right, are you still craving a little more tea? Evan, tell them where to go.
Make sure to like and subscribe to Page 6 YouTube to check out all of our exclusive virtual reality interviews and more.